Welcome to another edition of Self-Defense Across America. Okay, we're going to start in Utica, Michigan, where we have our victim is an adult male, 28 years old, who is unharmed, and we have three suspects. A 20-year-old who was unharmed and arrested, Christian Reyes, 22, unharmed and arrested, and an 18-year-old unharmed and arrested. And this looks to be a home invasion. Three individuals are being sought by police after they broke into a Shelby Township residence early Thursday and were met by gunfire from the homeowner. The incident happened around 1:45 a.m. in the 14,000 block of Valenti Lane in the area of Hall and Haley Roads. An initial investigation by Shelby Township Police shows three men wearing ski masks broke into the residence while the homeowner was inside. The homeowner fired several gunshots at the trio, who fled the house and are still on the loose. It is unknown if any of the three were hit by gunfire. This appears to be a targeted home invasion and not a random act. Benaniti, the police sergeant, added the homeowner was unsure if anything was taken from the residence during the home invasion. Television news footage showed officers examining bullet holes at the residence and trying to determine if any structures were damaged by the shooting. No physical description of the home invaders was released. More information will be released once it becomes available. So this was three guys, and they must have caught all three. Of this article was an early article apparently, because they must have caught all three because they know the ages of them, 18, 20, and 22, and they know the name Christian Reyes was one of the home invaders. And good thing that this 1:45 a.m. I'm going to maybe start keeping track of when. I know these happen all the time, but maybe keep track of what time is more, because I don't think most of them are happening in the middle of the night like this. It kind of seems like more of them are happening, late afternoon, like the 3 to 5 o'clock range. Seems to be like a hot spot for what time these happen. I might have to start keeping track of that just for a statistical. Okay, let's go to Philadelphia. We don't get a whole lot of Philadelphia self-defenses. You'd think there'd be way more there. We got our victim was an adult male, unharmed, and our suspect was also an adult male, unharmed. And this looks like a carjacking. Oh, this is just, all we got is a Twitter post for this one. Yet another near tragedy during latest temple robbery. Just after 8 p.m. last night, a man armed with a gun approached a victim in the area of 15th and Page and tried to rob him of his scooter. The victim then pulled his own gun, and a struggle with the weapon ensued. Police say the victim fired one shot during the robbery. The offender then fled the area, running north towards Susquehanna Avenue. No injuries have been reported. In a now deleted tweet, TUPD said, Temple University Police Department said the area was cleared and there was no threat to the Temple University community, despite a confirmed report of a man armed with a gun in the area. No arrest was made. The victim described the offender as a black male wearing a black hoodie, armed with a gun. So in this incident, this guy's riding a scooter, and if he didn't have a gun on him, well, I mean, he'd have lost his scooter for sure, and probably everything else he had on him. But I mean, he literally stopped this, and fortunately for him, it all went out okay. I mean, it ended okay for him, and he didn't end up getting shot. Like, the suspect didn't shoot him. So that's kind of a 50-50 on that one, but at least it all turned out good for that guy. So now we go to Las Vegas, Nevada, another place we don't get a whole ton of self-defense in Las Vegas, or not that are reported anyway. So our victim was a male and he was unharmed, and we had two suspects in this one. One was killed and one was injured, and this was another home invasion. Both were over the age of 18. During a Metro homicide briefing, Lieutenant Jason Johansson said that police were called to the Iberia Street near Desert Inn Road and Rainbow Boulevard around 9 a.m. Wednesday and found a man suffering from a gunshot wound. Officers say they received a 911 call reporting a break-in involving two men wearing masks and dark clothing. They say the son of the caller got a gun and fired on the suspects. One was hit and killed. The second suspect jumped a wall and took off in a gray sedan. A short time later, police got word of a reckless driver in a car matching the suspect vehicle near Tropicana Avenue and Jones Boulevard. That same car was involved in a crash with 2 other vehicles near Tropicana and Decatur Boulevard. Officers say the driver of that car had a gunshot wound to his leg, connecting him to the alleged break-in. He was taken into custody without incident. So this was a home invasion that happened at 9 a.m. That first one was at 1:45. This one happened at 9 a.m. And the son of the homeowner, shot these guys, killed one and injured the other one. And hopefully that son is of a, fairly decent age. Like, hopefully he was at least older teens, and this isn't like some younger kid had to shoot these guys, because that's not something that you really want your kid to have to live with. Okay, let's go on to Riverside, California at E-Joy Foot and Body Massage. Okay, we got our victim was an adult unharmed, and our suspect was an adult male, and he was injured. A would-be robber was shot while trying to steal from employees and customers at a massage parlor in Riverside Wednesday night. At about 9:45 p.m., 2 robbers entered a massage business in the 10,400 block of Magnolia Avenue. The pair tried to rob employees and customers, but one patron opened fire, hitting one of the thieves. Railsback said, that's the police officer. A handgun could be seen in the parking lot just outside the parlor's entrance. The 2 then fled though the wounded robber was found nearby suffering from a gunshot wound and was taken to the hospital in critical condition. The other robber is still outstanding. No injuries were reported at the business. So a patron, and this happens at a lot of these, that it's not even when a place is getting robbed, it's not the people that are working there that have the gun. It's somebody inside the store that has the gun. And, that's when they have those, gun-free zones, you wouldn't have that happening. Like, this would be a totally different story. It might not be the robbers running away. It could be the, person working there. We're doing a homicide report on them. Okay, now we go to Wellford, South Carolina, where our adult male victim was unharmed, and our suspect, 51-year-old Mitchell Lee Pruitt, he was unharmed and arrested. And again, another home invasion, a lot of these. A Spartanburg County man held 2 suspects at gunpoint Wednesday afternoon following a burglary at the home. According to the Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office, deputies responded at 12:10 p.m. to the 2200 block of John Dodd Road in reference to a disturbance with weapons. While en route to the scene, deputies were informed that the complainant's husband had the subject at gunpoint. Once at the scene, the deputies saw the man pointing a shotgun at the suspect, later identified as 51-year-old Mitchell Lee Pruitt, and asked him to lower the weapon. Once his weapon was lowered, the deputy handcuffed the woman, later identified as Amy Marie Smith, 45, sitting on the other couch facing Pruitt. This was a female? Once Mitchell was in the police car. Oh, no. Once Mitchell was in the police car, he told deputies that he had come with Smith to give her an estimate on property cleanup. Deputies then talked to Smith, who said that Pruitt came to the address and got her gas. She also said she went to the house to get her South Carolina tag, which had been stolen and was supposed to be in the bushes. Pruitt and Smith were both charged with burglary, second-degree, nonviolent, and petty larceny, less than $2,000. They were taken to the Spartanburg County Detention Center. Pruitt has been released, but Smith remains behind bars. So the woman is still behind bars. She wasn't even listed on the initial. It was just the 51-year-old guy listed on the initial listing of this. So, well, we got this tag team duo of this male and female that are going at again for another home invasion, and it didn't end too well for them. Okay, let's go to Mesa, Arizona, where we have an adult male victim, and we have 4 suspects. This is armed robbery. 2 of them are female and 2 are male, and the ones that they list the ages are aged between 19 and 25. And again, another home invasion. At least 2 suspects have been arrested after an apartment break-in in Mesa earlier this week led to a shooting. 25-year-old Nakeem Evans, 19-year-old Charles Bartlett are facing multiple charges, including kidnapping and robbery. Tuesday night, Evans, Bartlett, and 2 women wore masks and entered an apartment building on Billings Street near Sossaman Road and Main Street. Once inside, court documents say that 4 attacked 2 people who were sleeping. The suspects reportedly pepper sprayed both victims, then began punching, kicking, and hitting them with other objects. The suspects then duct taped their wrists, ankles, mouths, and eyes, and then moved them into a bathtub. There, one of the crooks hit one of the victims, a woman, several times and cut off her hair. Weird. Documents say the 2 victims then sat in the tub for about an hour as the 4 ransacked the apartment, stealing marijuana and clothes. During the robbery, a man returned to the apartment and was also attacked by suspects. He was armed and fired a shot, hitting the 2 women. All 4 thieves then fled the apartment. The 2 women were dropped off at the hospital. And documents say in the same U-Haul moving van seen outside the apartment during the robbery, police soon identified and arrested the 2 men who dropped the women off at the hospital. I'm assuming they got their names too, the women at the hospital. During an interview with investigators, Evans reportedly said he and the other suspects had traveled from North Carolina and watched the victims before the robbery. Per documents, Evans admitted that he was later invited into the apartment, pretended that he was interested in working for the people who lived there. He said he then left the sliding patio door unlocked so the other part of his crew could enter later. Evans also reportedly had the job of making sure the armed man wouldn't be home. When the 4 entered the apartment, then they thought the woman would be alone and didn't expect another person to be there. Bartlett allegedly admitted to pepper spraying and duct taping the victims, then stealing from the victims. He told detectives it was revenge for an alleged robbery that happened months before. Surveillance video from a neighboring unit shows the masked suspects jump a small wall to a patio and go through an unlocked door. Other witnesses also reported seeing the suspects carrying items out of the apartment for nearly an hour. Evans is facing kidnapping, aggravated robbery, and burglary charges. The same charges are also pending for Bartlett, including aggravated assault. It is unclear if the 2 alleged accomplices have been arrested. So they planned this for a while. This guy goes there to the apartment like he was going to do some work for these guys, apparently like a handyman or something like that. Leaves the door open so they can all come back later. They planned it when they knew the guy that lived there that had a gun would not be home. I mean, they put a lot of time into this one. And it is lucky that the guy with the gun came home, that they stayed there for an hour. And it's lucky that guy that with the gun came home when he did, because who knows what they would have done to the 2 people they left in the tub all duct taped up. Okay, here's another one in Philadelphia at the Karco. We got an adult victim that was unharmed, and our suspect is a 39-year-old male, and he was unharmed and arrested. And this looks like a security guard type situation. An altercation at a North Philadelphia gas station ended with an armed security guard firing a shot. It happened at the Karco gas station at Broad and Clearfield Streets around 5 p.m. Monday. Police say a 39-year-old man approached the security guard with a large concrete rock about the size of a softball. They were involved in some sort of verbal altercation, and that's when the 39-year-old male who was holding the rock threw it at the security guard. The guard then fired 1 shot, Small said, but no one was hit. The guard was not hit by the rock either. Police arrested the rock thrower for simple assault and reckless endangerment. They add both the man and the security guard are cooperating. And the Karco gas station had hired armed guards to protect their business. Yeah, I remember seeing a thing. That was last December when they started hiring the armed guards, because they have to at some of these gas stations. They're just, crime magnets.